revenue through the implementation of new tariffs earlier this year. St. Lucia police get help from their French neighbors in the war against the illicit drug trade. The local postal service joins in celebrating World Post Day even as it ponders its relevance in a technological age, and a call for St. Lucians to abandon political allegiances and put country first. Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Wednesday's edition of the DBS News World. It is the 9th of October 2013 and I am Onel Sanford Bell. The water and sewage company WASCO is reporting success in raising much needed revenue through the implementation of new tariffs earlier this year. The company applied for a tariff increase via the National Water and Sewerage Commission in January in order to help pay off its debts. The company provided a summary of developments since the introduction of the new tariffs, saying it's been raking in some $2 million per month as a result. DBS's Jason Hollenseed attended a press conference of the Water and Sewage Company and begins our news coverage tonight.
The tariffs instituted in the second quarter of this year saw an increase of 66.15% for water and 50.80% in waste reflected on customers' bills. WASCO's officials say as a result, the company's billings have gone up to $2 million per month.
You'd ask, what are we doing with this additional monies? And really and truly, it's been tough. We had a lot of creditors to pay. We had a lot of outstanding debts, especially to LUCIA. I don't know if you're aware that we owed LUCIA somewhere like $11 million. And since the increase, we've come to we worked out a deal with LUCIA whereby we pay them for the arrears, which is $11 million. We're going to pay them the current bill, which totals about $850,000 monthly to LUCIA, and then on the arrears, we're going to pay another $270,000 per month over a 4-year period.
Mr. Martial says although WASCO's billings have gone up to $2 million per month, the reality is that 1.5 cash from that is received. He notes that the situation at present is still challenging, but he adds that in the past the company could not have paid LUCIA its current electricity bills, which it can do now. He says that a number of creditors have been paid. The finance manager says the increase at least covers expenses and gives WASCO some room to maneuver and enable it to pursue its modernization and expansion plans. The company's utility services design and planning manager, Ali Anthony, spoke to technical changes undertaken since the tariffs were implemented. 10.43% of the 66.15% increase is being put aside for dredging the Roseau Dam.
The problem with the dam is not only a matter of dredging. There are also damages which were sustained during Hurricane Thomas. Damages in the form of the spillway wall that was damaged as a result of a landslide that has to be repaired, and also there is severe undermining of the spillway itself that has to be rehabilitated. So the project relating to the dam encompasses 3 main things: that is the spillway wall, the rehabilitation of the spillway, and the dredging. Now the dredging is expected to last between 3 and 5 years. Okay, and a sustainable method of removing the sediment as it comes has to be employed in order for the dam to remain with full storage capacity.
He says proposals have been received for dredging and engineering works. He says evaluations and a decision will soon be made. For the DBS News World, Jason Hollenseed reporting.
Residents in some parts of the south of the island continue to complain about what they say is the poor water quality in that part of St. Lucia, and the former LPM candidate for Micoud South constituency has joined them in calling on the Water and Sewage Company WASCO to address the problem. Philip Jean-Baptiste wants WASCO to put security measures in place to prevent future contamination of the water supply in that part of the island, but WASCO says that is easier said than done. Once again, here is DBS's Jason Hollandseed.
WASCO is battling water contamination in the south of the island. A recent press release from the company stated that residents of Deriso and Tiroche, including Canals, Angers, Domel and Beauchamp, were the ones affected. According to WASCO, the water supply in these areas was interrupted due to contamination at the river source, and its lab technicians would conduct periodic tests to ensure the integrity of supply before the system was reopened. And it's in that regard that the former LPM candidate for Mico South wants security measures in place.
When that pipe was shut, water was still flowing into the pipes in the shik. So it means that when the system is shut, water still goes through that is already in the system. And information I received is that from WASCO, as a matter of fact, they know who are the perpetrators of this crime. Now I'm saying, if you know who are the perpetrators, I hope the matter has been reported to the police as a criminal matter, because it's not the first year, it's not the second, it's not the third, and it's not going to be the fourth or the sixth, because every time it comes to Creole Day, the same set of people are doing the same thing on the water. And I'm also asking WASCO, you receive 66% increase for the units. What measures are you putting in place that something does not happen next year?
But WASCO's Utility Services Design and Planning Manager Ali Anthony says it is difficult to maintain the same degree of security and supervision at intakes because of the varying sizes and orientations. Mr. Anthony says securing some of these sites is not an easy feat.
We had to shut down, and we had to disinfect our entire system, flush, disinfect, flush until we got quality which could have been distributed to customers. This cost the company a lot in terms of not being able to provide the quality of service that we would have wanted to, and in terms of the trucking that we had to do in order to provide the community with water. So far, a lot has been said about this practice of river poisoning, especially, and it happens almost every year, especially during this time for Junior Creole activities especially, and it's taking a toll. It's taking a toll on people's health, it's taking a toll on the company's ability to supply water.
Mr. Jean-Baptiste nonetheless says that the problem occurs too often and is a serious health concern for the residents in the affected areas.
There are health concerns because people have been, they've been itching, people have been having diarrhea, they have been, I myself drunk, and maybe I had a diarrhea, could have been part of that too. But I'm saying because definitely that water filtered in people's pipe before WASCO knew about that.
The Utility Services Design and Planning Manager says because water plants are difficult to secure, the general public needs to be wary and conscientious and play its part in ensuring the safety of the supply.
How does WASCO prevent or stop something like that from happening? It's almost impossible. You have a remote system way in the forest. We cannot have people policing the system all the time. Now sometimes the incident may actually happen maybe a kilometer upstream. How are we to monitor a kilometer upstream effectively? We cannot. So it's the public that has to understand what it is that they're dealing with, the consequences of their actions. It's up to the public. We really can't do everything when it comes to that aspect of safety in terms of our abstraction. We can.
During the system closure, WASCO said it would truck water to the affected areas. A series of community meetings is planned to address the situation. For the DBS News World, Jason Hollandseed reporting.
The French and local law enforcement authorities have joined forces to combat the illicit drug trade. The French law enforcement officials convened a workshop here this week to share some of their expertise with local counterparts. DBS's Don Nicholas filed this report.
French and local police convened a workshop in St. Lucia to clamp down on drug trafficking between the two islands. Officials say it's imperative that the two countries support each other in the fight against drugs. They say it symbolizes an agreement between the two to take the fight to the criminal elements. In June 2013, at the annual exercises in St. Lucia between law enforcement officials from the Caribbean and U.S. military, Police Commissioner Vernon Francois issued a stern warning to drug traffickers traffickers. He made it clear that St. Lucia is no safe haven for drug activities. This time around, it's the French authorities working with St. Lucia.
It's a real operational course to train each other with a different method in the look against drug.
Okay. How do you see the enthusiasm of the police here? Are they willing and ready?
Yes, I'm very proud to meet them because we look like the same officers. They are involved in the fight, and it's very difficult here in St. Lucia because there are lots of traffickers who try to work here, and the work for my friend in St. Lucia is very difficult. We know this work because we are used to share the same sea and the same public and the same problems.
Earlier this year, other seminars were also organized to investigate the sale of illegal drugs via the internet. French law enforcement authorities, for their part, say they are very happy to be in St. Lucia to work along with their local counterparts. They say the workshop is timely in that it is being held when drug trafficking is on the increase. Recently, the island's land and sea units have conducted operations yielding arrests and record amounts of illicit drugs.
The work for my friend in St. Lucia is very difficult. We know this work because we are used to share the same sea and the same public and the same problems. But I think St. Lucia is well protected.
The workshop is expected to last for 1 week. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas reporting.
The local Bureau of Standards is preparing to observe the World Standards Day later this month, but has already embarked on a series of activities designed to raise awareness of the essential role standards play in promoting quality, consistency and dependability across an array of industries. Alex Bousquet reports on one such activity.
In keeping with the theme for this year's observance, Standards for a World at Work and Play, the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards has partnered with the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College in presenting a series of lectures to students in the hospitality, electrical installation and business departments of the college on the role of standards in their various fields of study.
So for electrical, we'll be presenting them with the IEE regs and some of the other programs that we have at the Bureau of Standards for electrical safety. In the hospitality industry, we are presenting our food safety program. We're presenting a number of standards, HACCP and ISO 22000, which is a food safety system. And also in the business department, we are just giving an overview of standardization, the standard development process, getting involved in standards work and the work of the Bureau of Standards as well as the International Organization of Standardization. World Standards Day is observed to mark the significant work that experts in standardization are doing to improve our world, make our quality of life, improve on our quality of life. And we are the Bureau of Standards. We are intrinsic to that activity to make St. Lucia a better place, promoting safety, promoting health, promoting the protection of the environment.
Mrs. Fontenelle says the focus is on having students become familiar with standards early so that by the time they enter the world of work, they have a good grasp on how standards facilitate technological innovations and foster evolving social and environmental compliance practices that increase the health and safety of the world and its citizens.
This is one of such activity. We have done activities with students in the past. We've had a debating competition, we've had oratorical competition. We have taken the opportunity at those times to interface with students at the primary and secondary levels. We think that it is instructive that we're meeting with the tertiary level students, because where we want to be is at the point where students will encounter standards in the world of work. We don't want them to wait until they are working to know about standards. We want them to have an engagement with standards before they enter the world of work.
World Standards Day is observed on October 14th, but the Bureau has planned activities for the entire month of October to draw attention on the importance of standards. For the DBS News World, Alex Bousquet reporting.
Thank you so much. Once again, we go to Alex Bousquet for tonight's presentation of Street Vibes.
Hi, I'm Alex Bousquet and you're watching Street Vibes. Our question today is, do you think St. Lucians are health conscious?
Nah, not at all. People just being inconsiderate and do not check on the health. To me, that's a very vital thing to do, and we should check on our health. Yes, as St. Lucian people. Not just St. Lucian people, but everybody.
Yes, I do think St. Lucians are health conscious now that they have all those different pharmacies, the herbal shops and all those different places that would tell them, educate them, sensitize them as to how to use different products, especially the local products that we have from our great-grandparents, etc.
Manyangawe bagay makakwesa piske makawe mun ka top go. Ek makawe mun ka manger top zanimo ici. Expressement cochon. Cochon c'est number 1 by Saint-Lucien. Et c'est by Bible la condemn. Et pour kawe tout le monde c'est ça yo vle. So même kawe nous besoin un changement en pays ya pour moun manger plus fruitage et pour ces femmes là venir plus bas. Yo top go. Top bay pas de tout bay bon pas bay bon pas ça pas avec moi. Moi vle moun slim et ka gade gentilhomme dat si moi on la rue moi ça chat yo. Merci.
You've just been watching Street Vibes with me, Alex Busquet, down at the Aquarius Crossing. We're now taking you right back to our studio.
You're watching St. Lucia's News Leader and listening to us on Rhythm FM 95.5. We're also online and on the big screen at the Aquarius Crossing in downtown Castries. Still to come in the DBS News World, legal proceedings launched against Radio Caribbean International, celebrating World Post Day, and calls for St. Lucians to bring an end to blind political allegiances and put country first. Those stories are coming up right after the break. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with the DBS News World. Local journalist and talk show host Timothy Polian has been slapped with 3 lawsuits, and well-known journalist Rick Wayne thinks that there should be possible boycott of political meetings and government functions by the media in response to this latest development. Legal action has been taken against talk show host Timothy Polian and Radio Caribbean International by National Security Minister Victor Lecobinier, President of the Senate Claudius Francis, and Minister for Tourism Lon Theophilus. The action was prompted by the broadcast of a story related to the alleged revocation of the U.S. visas for former Government Minister Richard Frederick. The story originated on the website Caribbean News Now. DBS's Jason Hollandseed spoke to Rick Wayne and filed this report.
Tim has already changed. He's already changed. And you wonder about this because the Radio Caribbean is owned by a Labour Party stalwart, and you wonder what's going on.
And it's in that regard that Mr. Wayne says it is interesting now that the media is under pressure that anyone thinks that they can, in his words, scare the pants off them.
I was thinking it might be a nice retaliatory move if all the media houses decided they were not going to cover political activities. And by political, I mean government as well. And then I thought, well, what would be the point? Because the government has its own cameraman and whatnot. I'm not too hot on this, so I don't know if they can. They have NTN. I don't know if NTN can function without other involvement. I don't know. But they certainly have Radio St. Lucia and whatever. So I don't think that would it would prove any point. But having said that, and having also said that I think the media has rendered itself so soft and so without muscle.
According to Rick Wayne, it would be a nice retaliatory move by what he called the gutless media not to cover political or government activities.
The only retaliatory move would be that journalists do their job even better. You know, that might be a nice retaliatory move. When you're interviewing a politician, stop playing games. Ask about his background. Like during the campaign, there were at least 4 politicians who could have done with some serious background checking, and nobody cared enough to do about that. So the media has contributed a lot to this mess that we're in today, and it's ironic that some of that mess is falling on our faces.
Rick Wayne, owner of the Star newspaper, made no bones about the state of the media to date, while being very critical of the St. Lucia media. He says that as a result of the current situation, and if things continue as they are, politicians may well take advantage and have their way with the St. Lucia media.
This sacrificing of Timothy Pauline that's going on right now is a sacrificing of the people, you know. Just imagine that if all the media closed down and the only voice you heard was the voice of the government. Because bet your life, if the media closed down, you will not hear the voice of the opposition in our circumstances, whoever the opposition might be. Okay? So you're only going to hear the voice of the government. Imagine that state of affairs. But it's close. And again, I am blaming to a large extent not despotic governments, but pathetic media. I keep on saying, quoting Sir Vincent Flosac, who made the point at a particular media awards ceremony, that the law is very much on the side of journalists. They just don't know it.
Rick Wayne says he had his fair share of lawsuits and believes such suits are an attempt to muzzle the media. For the DBS News World, Jason Hollandseed reporting.
Tonight, a former foreign minister wants residents to disassociate themselves from partisan politics. Rufus Busquets says the island will reap economic rewards as a result. Jason Hollandseed explains.
The Foreign Affairs Minister under the former United Workers' Party administration believes that the country is very divided as a consequence of political affiliations and loyalties. Rufus Busquets of the view that the island's severe economic hardships are proof of his sentiments. As far as Mr. Busquets is concerned, persons need to stop towing the party and political lines and see things from a more nationalistic and developmental standpoint.
Many St. Lucians, I would say fully 80% of our population, maybe even 90%, see politics as the salvation. They look for a solution for their problems in the political realm. They see a situation where, for example, if the United Workers' Party is in power, persons who have supported the United Workers' Party see it as an automatic benefit for them, in the sense that there is hope that they will get a job, whether it's some little thing, they'll get a contract, as the case may be. And so it blinds them to anything nationalistic.
Mr. Busquets says that it's very important that persons understand this point. The former Foreign Affairs Minister says that there are several situations which bear testimony to its veracity.
There are vendors on the side of the road. They're asked to move because it creates a health hazard, it creates a social hazard. There's a risk to life and limb by virtue of their presence. The vendor is a Labour Party supporter. The vendor doesn't look at all the realities concerning their presence. The person only looks at it that I was moved because I'm Labour. So now the person goes out on a big Labour Party tirade, for example, so that their party can win. The party wins, and the vendor is back where he or she started, in spite of the fact that there may be 6 or 7 no vending signs all over the place. The person is doing it. When that happens, what is the message that is communicated to that person? When my party is in power, I can do what I want. Now, it has happened with the UWP as well. I don't want to just put it as one political organization. But the reality is, this is what we have done to our people, and we need to change it.
Mr. Busquets says the point needs to be made because of the far-reaching implications.
Pretty soon, the United Workers' Party is not going to be able to do enough for all the people who need help. And I'm sure the Labour Party is facing the same situation today. They can't possibly provide enough for the number of people who supported them and who want assistance. We've got to grow this economy. This is what we've got to do. This is our critical target. The government has to come up with a program that it can sell to the nation, and if nothing else, give the nation the comfort that they're on the ball in terms of doing what is necessary to alleviate the serious economic plight that our business sector, our individual citizens are experiencing at this time.
The former Foreign Affairs Minister believes that now is the time for persons to abandon political allegiances in favor of country and national development. For the DBS News World, Jason Hollandseed reporting.
The parents of 2 children are seeking legal advice after their children were allegedly bullied at a school in the capital. The 2 students claim the incident occurred after school while they were awaiting a bus to go home. The parents are alleging that this is not the first time. DBS's Cecil Actel tells us more.
A boy summoned to the principal's office after hearing that he was the ringleader in a bullying situation. The parents of the 2 students, brother and sister, told their parents that they were being intimidated by a group of boys, and 1 student from the group is behind the taunting. The children's mother, Brenda Stay, alleges that her son was accosted by a group of boys Tuesday, and the ringleader demanded money from him and after attacked her son. She says when the boy's sister noticed what was going on, she got involved and she too was beaten.
I feel real bad as a mother that if I send in my child to school and on the way, not that somebody should they do their child. And to see he's in the same class with my son.
The children's father has sought legal advice and says that the incident has occurred on 4 occasions and has informed the school on the matter.
I'm not feeling happy when I see people just bullying people for their thing. So, like I live poor and I never bully nobody for their thing.
What is the school telling you?
They tell me they're going to take action, but my lawyer tell me let's bring that further. Check it for my child, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, anybody that beat me, I do it myself.
The school says that they are investigating the matter and will be taking action. The parents of the boy involved in the bully were called to the school. Reporting for the DBS News World, I am Cecil Actel.
Thank you so much, Cecil. And from Cecil's report to Janik Delmar for our Smile of the Week.
Welcome to Smile of the Week, brought to you by DBS News and Smile Patrol TV show. This week, we have partnered with Automotive Art St. Lucia Limited. We are about to surprise a bus driver. His name is Arnold Phillip. I seriously believe that heroes live amongst us, and this is what Arnold Phillip is. He has been nominated by so many passengers who ride his bus on a daily basis. This is the top man for customer service, and he sits in his small 14-seater bus from Castries to Grosley Lane. So it's time to surprise Mr. Phillip with some goodies from Automotive Art Limited. In a time where you're busy and you're hustling to get to work and from work, this is exactly the type of person you want to meet, you need to meet. A good morning, a good afternoon, how are you doing? And we're going to have a safe trip. It's just what passengers want to hear. I'm so happy that we found a great person on the island of St. Lucia.
Mr. Phillips says he feels pretty good about the nomination by his passengers because he says he treats them with love and respect.
Well, you all started my day so good. I'm thanking to your praise to the Almighty this morning. I get up and I prayed and praise God that you all have brought this to me. I'll use it wisely to make sure that for the purpose it is given to me, and that I want to thank everybody that has said good things about me. I just want you all to know that in my heart is the same thing to you all. Good things to you all also. All blessings, everything to everybody on the whole island, the entire earth.
Arnold says his passengers feel safe with him for one simple reason.
I try my best to make them feel comfortable because we're on a trip, we're going, and this is a very dangerous road. And everywhere, Grosley, Viewford, all of them are dangerous. We need to be nice to people so that we could be one. The Almighty will guide us so we could go where we're going, could return safely also.
Mr. Phillips says he will continue to do as he does because he feels that's the way to go.
Well, I feel so good. Wow. Yeah, I feel so good. I am happy that you could do something good and other people could see it and you could show a good example and other people could watch you and say, yeah, they want to be like that person. They want to show people love too, because it's a good feeling to be nice to people. So I continue doing it.
Just a gentle reminder that the Smile Patrol can be seen on Sunday evenings on DBS television.
When the DBS News World continues in this joint transmission with Rhythm FM 95.5, the local postal service observes World Post Day and local youth debate about sex and contraceptive. The details are coming up right after this. Welcome back to the DBS News World. I am Onel Sanford Bell. In more news, Mabuya Valley emerged the winner of a debate which occurred on Saturday. The debate was held under the theme Using Contraceptives to Prevent Sexually Transmitted Disease and Teenage Pregnancy. DBS's Don Nicholas reports.
The debate was organized by the National Lotteries Authority and the National Youth Council in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Sports under the theme Using Contraceptives to Prevent Teenage Pregnancies and Sexually Transmitted Diseases. The debate took place between Mabuya Valley and South Castries. Organizers were impressed by the high standard of the competition. In 2 weeks' time, 4 teams will vie for the top spot at the semi-final stage. Organizers say it's a way of getting young people to add their voices to pertinent issues affecting today's society.
Well, there are a number of issues that are affecting us as a society today, and we thought that one of the ways in which we can help young persons articulate their positions, to do research, to engender some kind of discussion on the various issues that can confront our society and young people. That's, the debate will be an excellent way of getting young people to focus on those issues and those events that confront us, on a daily basis. The whole issue of teenage pregnancy, the whole issue of the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana, those kind of things which seem to be, confronting our psyche. I think that we thought that was a good way of airing those things out in society and getting persons to start to talk about them and articulate their positions on those things. I think tonight was an excellent way for us to get the whole issue of teenage pregnancy and the use of contraceptives and so on, to be discussed by the young people themselves.
We spoke to one of the competitors who felt that both teams gave a good account of themselves.
Well, today the topic was very interesting, whether or not we should allow contraceptives to be available to prevent STIs and also teenage pregnancies, and we were proposing that we should allow contraceptives to be available to each and every individual who so desires to prevent teenage pregnancy or so desires to protect themselves from STIs. However, we did lose the debate. But I think we after we've diagnosed our own performance, we can safely say that it could have been contributed, or it was as a result of our lack of preparation. I think last week we faced a bit of a hurdle that put us behind time, and so we did not do the requisite research that we would have loved to do.
The competition took place on Saturday at the Cicero Community Center. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas reporting.
Thank you, Don. The local postal service is attempting to reposition itself and to remain relevant in an increasingly technological age. The General Post Office says it is exploring a raft of measures to improve both its service offerings and the quality of those services. The pledge comes as the local postal service joined the rest of the world to observe World Post Day today. DBS's Cecil Actil tells us more.
Authorities say that Postal Service is adapting and redefining itself for a 21st century communications landscape. Despite the popularity of email and other electronic communication media, last year about 350 billion letters and 6 billion parcels were delivered worldwide. However, the Postal Service says its operations must be modernized in order to remain relevant.
The Postal Service had to redefine itself. Okay, what we had to do was to cater to the needs of the customer in terms of providing a reliable service that is speedy and also secure. What we had to do was become the agent of choice in terms of delivering items purchased via the internet. So that is how we had to reposition ourselves.
Physical letters continue to generate, on average, almost half of the post revenues, but the steady decline in business mail is forcing the service to rethink its business model to reflect new consumer habits and trends.
Even though the technology has taken over, you still find that the postal service is significant or is important in terms of delivery of packages and also small packets. Although we find that the personal letters has decreased, business letters decreased, but the parcels and the small packages increased. It accounts for about 20% of our revenue.
The local postal service on Wednesday joined the rest of the world to observe World Post Day. The observance of World Post Day began in 1969. The island's postal service on Wednesday undertook activities to raise awareness of the role the post office plays. Several services were on exhibition, and so the post office partnered with the Ministry of Health to conduct several tests, including pressure and glucose tests. Reporting for the DBS News World, I am Cecil Actel.
The OECS Secretariat's Regional Integration Unit, RIU, began conducting a second seminar of spokespersons for the OECS Economic Union from October 9th to the 11th, 2013 to further help in communicating the benefits, implications and opportunities of the Union to the people of the region. Grenada is hosting the two-day training workshop, which is specifically designed for middle and senior level officers representing ministries of labor, finance, trade, immigration planning, information, environment and small businesses from the Windward Islands member states of the OECS. Participants from the OECS member states of Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are attending this workshop. The 2 training days will cover communication and advocacy planning, key message development and spokesperson training. It will be supplemented with a full day of plenary sessions in which participants directly engage a high-level technical team from the OECS Secretariat to apply the knowledge in the context of integration and the economic union. On the lighter side tonight, police in the UK caught a lorry driver on camera brushing his teeth while driving. The police have released a video of the lorry driver brushing his teeth while driving down a dual carriageway as part of a crackdown on driving offences. In the footage, a male driver can be seen with a toothbrush in one hand and a bottle of water in the other while on a motorway. The driving offence was one of 227 detected in a 5-day police operation by the Roads Policing Unit. Further footage shows a woman applying makeup in the car while she was driving on the M27 and a man chatting on his mobile phone while at the wheel. The operation across the motorway of Hampshire and the Thames Valley resulted in 198 prosecutions for driving offences. All drivers were given £100 fine and 3 points on their licence. And that's the lighter side. Brian Calix is next with sports. Please stay with us.